Let me ask you a very direct question.
Hold on,
Do you think
hold on,
Israel
no.
wants to kill
Yes,
innocent civilians?
I do.
You think Israel genuinely wants to?
I do.
What evidence do you have of that?
The evidence is they are refusing to do special operations and instead are relying on bombing areas where they know civilians are at, and then they'll turn around and say, well, Hamas is using them as human shields.
So if someone was shooting at you, if someone was, you don't have kids, right?
If an armed man grabbed a family member of yours, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Oh, do you have? Okay, your mother. You talked about your mother. If an armed gunman grabbed your mother, had a gun to her head, okay, and he is confronted by the authorities, by law enforcement, and law enforcement, they just decide, you know what? We're not going to negotiate. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to shoot the hell out of both of them. And then they come to you and say, well, your mother, sorry, was a human shield. Would you accept that argument?
That's not the question, though.
Would you accept that argument?
You're making up a random story that my mother is held captive.
Hamas using Palestinians as human shields is not a justification to indiscriminately bomb the hell out of that region, knowing full well that the majority of people who are going to end up dying are not Hamas militants who are underground in the tunnels. Okay? It's the innocent civilians who are going to lose their lives.
So, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekal Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and who taught me this truth. And peace and blessings with all sincerity to the hopeful elect. It's Zakar'Yah coming at you with another lesson, and Lord's willing, it be edifying. So I'm going to touch on this article from RT, which is entitled Gaza War Protesters March on Biden's Home. Written November 12th, 2023. Hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters rallied outside of U.S. President Joe Biden's residence in Delaware on Saturday, denouncing U.S. support for Israel's military operations against Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip, which has claimed thousands of civilian lives. Palestinian flags were seen flying as the crowd chanted, "Ceasefire now." And President Biden, "You can't hide. We charge you with genocide." So let me grab my first precept. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And pertaining to Malachi 1:4, we know that Edomites are the wicked, okay, which is the biblical nationality of the so-called self-proclaimed white man. He's in the ruler's seat, and his actions and his decisions and the way this earth is governed is causing the people to mourn, okay, which ultimately is going to lead to sedition and chaos, all right, plain and simple. The protesters occurred as Biden was delivering a speech at Arlington National Ceremony to mark Veterans Day. War and conflict, death and loss are not relics of our American history. They're part of our American story, he said in his address. All right. So we got a Twitter handle breaking: hundreds of Palestine protesters are reportedly marching towards President Joe Biden Delaware home as they accuse him of genocide. President Biden, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide, the angry mob shouted.
Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
See, we have a good amount of speakers here today.
Okay. The Biden administration has faced increasing criticisms over its stance on the Israeli-Hamas war. Several pro-Palestinian demonstrations have taken place close to the White House in recent weeks, with one entrance near the West Wing recently covered with blood-red handprints and graffiti that read Genocide Joe. And they have every right to call him that, because America and their president are complicit in everything that's taking place over there in the Gaza Strip with the Palestinians. It's just that simple. Despite the White House allegedly helping negotiate brief daily pauses in Gaza fighting to allow civilians to evacuate, President Biden has reportedly voiced Washington's full support of Israel's right to defend itself. On Thursday, he again said that there was no possibility of a full-scale ceasefire until Israel destroys Hamas. And for President Joe Biden to even say something like that, when knowing that what's taking place over there in the state of Israel is war crimes, all right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're war crimes. Matter of fact, let's go to the Geneva Convention, okay? The Geneva Convention and their additional protocols from the core of international humanitarian law, which regulates the conduct of armed conflicts and seeks to limit its effects, all right? So the Geneva Convention even tells you, okay, that what's taking place over there in Israel is a war crime. This is what it says on collective punishment in the Geneva Convention. Collective punishment is a war crime prohibited by treaty in both international and non-international armed conflicts. More specifically, comment Article 33 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and Article 6 of the Additional Protocol 2. All right? It's just that simple, man. It's just that simple. So, America, this isn't the first time that they have broken international law or help other countries break international law. You know, not too long ago, what was it, a couple years ago, America sent a missile over to Iran and blew up one of the Iranian generals' vehicle, murdered him. So, as you can see, these Edomites don't play fair. You know, they don't even, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't even take heed to their own laws, man. You know, the brother Zakar'Yah always brings out, they write laws and amend laws, but they literally get away with murder. So let's get Psalms chapter 73 and verse 5. And this is why. This is why they do these things. Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Yeah, speaking of these Edomites, the self-proclaimed white man. They are not in trouble as other men. Continuing on, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. Right. They feel like they can get away with anything, man, because they make the rules. They're the hammer of the earth. So they can, if they choose, they can treat every problem like a nail. Okay? Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. And the example of the state of Israel, these Israelis have the majority of the land. But they gotta take the Gaza Strip. Come on, man. Continuing on. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Right. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. Just like in the clip that I played prior, the gentleman was listening to was having a debate with the woman, and she was making great points. And he was ready to defend the wickedness of what's taking place over there. If these Edomites aren't the wicked that the Bible speaks of, then who is, man? All right. So let's go back to this article. Zakar'Yah. Yeah. Despite the White House, Zakar'Yah, I think we already read that. Let's play a quick clip. And see, the people are waking up, man. The people aren't fools, okay, to the oppression and the things that are taking place over here in America, Babylon the Great. All right. The people are paying attention and waking up. They're realizing that, they're also getting oppressed by their government, that their government is deceiving them. And ultimately, as things continue to get worse and worse, around the world and here in America, the people are going to lose it, man. They're going to lose it. All right, let's see. I think that's it. That's a little clip here. So you get the point, man. You see what's happening. You see what's happening. All right. So let me get ready to end this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And I'll start at 14. The point is in 16. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their hand. Right, and that's what you're witnessing, man. You're witnessing these people getting just fed up, okay? They're getting fed up to the point where they're marching now, going to, Biden's residence and protesting. But after a while, as things get worse and worse, people are they're going to say enough with the protesting. It's time to take action. Because when people have nothing to lose, they lose it. Let's get the definition of sedition real quick. Sedition, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. All right. And that's what's happening, man. And we're going to see more and more of that, especially here in America, Babylon the Great, because as America dips their nose in these other nations' business, okay, and sending all their resources and military over to the East and not taking care of the issues that they have at home, what do you think's going to happen? Okay, the American people are going to suffer. which you're noticing it now. The inflation, the massive loss of jobs, the bank closures. You know, if you're paying attention, you know what's coming. All right. Sedition. And after sedition, people are going to get it how they live. All right. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. Lord's willing, this was edifying. Shalom, Israel. Wa abad babal.